My least favorite months of the year are March and August, and stay tuned, I'll tell you why. Hi, my name is Rich and welcome to my world. I do not like March. I'll tell you why. It's the end of winter. I'm about ready to be done with ice and cold weather, and I can't wait to get in the garden. So I'm itchy to get in the garden. April is my favorite. April and May, I come alive. I live in the garden, love every minute of it. The end of July rolls around and August is hot, usually dry. The weeds, you trim a bush, a week later you're trimming it again. You're weeding and weeding and weeding. And by August, I'm ready to pour gasoline on the garden and light it. I'm done. September rolls around, it gets cool, and I'm all about it again. And I'm out here up until almost Christmas. If it's a mild November, I come alive again in the cool weather. So gardening ebbs and flows. You're going to have your favorite times and your least favorite times. And one piece of advice, if you hate weeding, find another hobby, because you're going to do a lot of weeding. And boy, right now, I cannot stay on it. You no sooner get done with 5 beds and it's time to go back to another bed. It's all about weeding. This is a mulberry. The birds fly in. I have lots of birds, and they eat them and other properties, and they drop the seeds and they grow. These things are a scourge. Now, we've had enough rain that I was able to pull it out. Look at that root. If you let that go another year, you got a problem. Then we have the grasses. And then, oh, this is another one of my favorites. This is sumac. And if you let this get much taller than this, you are really going to have a problem, because the roots on these things are unbelievable. So you constantly have to walk around all your shrubs, because the birds sit on the shrubs and the tree branches. So they put these weeds in the most inconvenient place. And so this is what you do. You walk through, walk around. This is pokeweed. This is another nightmare. They're almost like in the carrot family. They get these huge roots. I mean, like huge. And then they get the berries and they spread. If you get it out now, this is a good time. If you let it go, they'll winter over and they'll come back. The root system, they'll come back, and they'll come back with a vengeance. I'll just throw this over here and pick it up in a little while. So walk around and see what you've got. And I'm looking in here, and I have lambs here that needs to be dug out. I have another sumac, another mulberry, lots and lots of sycamores, always sycamores. Remember we talked, I think it was the last episode or the one before, that I planted a lime smoke tree that's really kind of more of a shrub. This is looking good. This is going to be beautiful in about 3 years. And then it sends up at the top when it gets mature, like a cloud. And that's why they call it a smoke tree. So this is nice. This makes me excited when I see something doing well. This is the limelight hydrangea. We're going to move a little bit away from weeding. This is the perfect time to cut these, pull the leaves off, do a bouquet, put a rubber band around it or a twist tie, hang it upside down. I hang them from the rafters in our tavern room, and they'll look good for 3 years. And you don't have to spray anything on them or do anything with them. My mother-in-law would put glycerin in a vase, put them in, let them suck up the glycerin, and that made them more supple. I do nothing. I just clip them, take the leaves off, and hang them upside down. And I do one whole timber on our ceiling, and everyone compliments me. They all say, "Oh, that's really nice. What are they, hydrangeas?" I say, "Yes." And they're great in dry flower arrangements. And basically, all you do is hang them upside down for like 2 weeks, and they're done. So, aren't they pretty, the limelight? They are really beautiful. This bed was just one big row of lamb's ear, and it was pretty until after they bloomed. Then they fall over. They're invasive. It becomes a headache. So I took them all out. And I'm really struggling with what to put in here. And I'm beginning to think the best thing to do is to maybe put sedum in. Sedum is very hardy, and it'll just block everything out. It gets a bloom that the butterflies love, and all you have to do is once a year just clip it back, and that's better than weeding or anything else. So I'm thinking this bed is going to be all sedum, one whole row of sedum. It'll look like boxwood, and it'll match the other side of the aisle. So that's what I'm thinking here. So that'll probably happen this fall or early spring. A couple episodes ago I was talking about the lily I bought in Chester County years ago, and I've divided it and moved it around. This is it. I love this lily because it gives you such height. The problem is the bindweed loves it. And if you don't get it early on, it's up and entangled. So I have it here and up there, and it is just wonderful for a fence row or the middle of a garden or the back of the garden. Gives you color in late July. Like I said, the love affair with daylilies is on. This, I've talked about this lily before. This is what they call a Turk's head lily. It hangs upside down. I think it's absolutely beautiful. They need to be staked, but they're going to be moved. I'm moving them down in this area. I planted lilies that bloom a week earlier here, so next year that'll be beautiful. And then these are going to go in here, I think. So, because they're not getting enough sunlight because of this trellis. So, but I bought these through a catalog. Just dig the hole, put them in, and year after year they come back. Isn't that wonderful? I love things that you put in and they're no work. They're absolutely no work. All you have to do is after they're done blooming, come in and clip them down and, you know, feed them bulb tone. That's it. So lilies are easy. Here's apples on my espaliered apple tree. It's becoming mature enough that it's starting to bear fruit. Now it's in the beginning stages. There are apples on it, but it's not as full with apples as it should be. So another year or two, trees have to mature, and so it's always nice to see that. There is a myriad of new sunflowers out and I love these new varieties of small sunflowers. They send up a huge stalk, all these beautiful little sunflowers. The birds love them, the finch, and I like them next to the fence in the back of the gardens. So every spring I go out and I buy sunflower seeds and put them in the greenhouse and then transplant them. But you can plant them right into the ground. They're very hardy. And you can plant them fairly early. I've had a lot of success with these. And they have red ones and yellow and red ones and yellow ones. So go to the store and look at them and see which one, they have pictures on the front, which ones you like, and try them. I really enjoy having these. Okay, here is sedum. I talked about it earlier in the video. A lot of people up in very cold places like the top of Michigan that cannot grow boxwoods will do this instead. It'll give you a similar look. Boy, they're very little work. You just put them in, they take over. After they bloom a beautiful red color, like a rosy pink red, and then fades. All you have to do in the fall is cut them back down to the ground or do it in early spring. I do it in the fall because it's cooler and you cannot kill these things. And then in the spring, I can work on other things. Spring is a very busy time. So that's one of the things I do in the fall. I just pretty much cut it right down to the ground. And there you have it. This is a sedum hedge. It looks great. Now they're really tall this year, and I think it's because of all the rain. Normally, they're about 6 inches lower than this. So what's going to happen is when they flower, they're going to get top heavy and they're going to start to fall backwards. It's just because of all the rain. Now here's a weed. You don't see it until it gets a little bit above. And this is red weed. That's because the roots are red and they put up a big flower and the weeds go everywhere. They're almost impossible to get rid of. Here's another weed here. You don't see them until, they're above the plant. Now this is great here. This is what I'm thinking about doing on the other side of the fence, around the corner. You can plant lily bulbs back there that get tall. And that's because you're going to have like 1.5 feet back there. And it's a nice buffer for the lilies. And then you get another layer. So I've been planting lilies. I need to cut them back. These are a beautiful white trumpet lily here. Another weed. Another weed. Nope, that's not a weed. That's the lily. Oak tree. I'm going to need a shovel for this, I think. Yes, definitely. I have to get my long shovel for that. So that's the story with this. It makes a nice hedge. And like I said, the butterflies love it. This is a chate bush. It gets like a story high and it's beautiful. They're grown mostly in the South. You can grow them here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The problem is when you have a winter where it gets down to 2 degrees, it died back to the ground. So all the dead wood had to be cut. It's making a comeback, but it gave the weeds a chance. So I weed whacked. I'm going to come in and weed whack a little more and then spray. I hate to spray chemicals, but this needs serious spraying. I'm going to show you this particular bush on the other side of the house. It must have been protected because it's fine. It didn't die back to the ground. So it all depends on where you have an individual shrub can take the winter different than a same species in a different place. Let's go look at that. The bush we were just looking at that died back, the chate bush, here's the one that didn't. Look at it. So these are like lilacs in a way. Lilacs should be thinned. 1/3 should be taken out every year. So next spring, we'll see how it does through this winter. And if it doesn't die back, we'll thin 1/3 out. It seeds and other bushes come up next to it. I'm thinking about leaving this one because it's more to the white. But there's some up there that need to be dug out. This is a problem. We planted this crabapple here to shade the family room. And it's wonderful, and it's a pretty tree, especially in the spring, and it blooms. But it's getting mature, and we need to go in and somehow trim it so cars can get in and out, but not kill it and not prune it back too much. You get to a certain place and with a mature tree, and it takes a little work. Where in the beginning, the first 15 years, you just plant it and let it go. I have a pine tree up here that's dying. There's some type of pine blight on my Mondo pines. So I've planted giant arbs under it. And now I think the one has to come out. This is the large Mondo pines I was talking about. Now this limb's dead. I have been sawing them off and moving up as the limbs are dying. It has some kind of blight, and had I found it earlier on, maybe spraying it would have helped. But at this point, they've been here long enough, they've done the job. I've put in these beautiful giant arbs, which are going to stay green all year long. They'll give my family room a buffer from the road. So I'm going to leave this one, but I think in the next week or two, this is coming down. And then that'll open this space and let a little bit more sun in. This side of the house is difficult because we're so busy on the other side of the house with the gardens that this gets neglected. And this is my closest neighbor, great people. So I try to keep it tidy for them. Right over here, I have holly bushes that have been here 30 years and sweet shrub. And I'm thinking about just taking it down, clearing it out, planting grass seed, and continuing the fence down. And that will be a nicer look for us and for our neighbor. And this is just out of control. 31 years ago, I had planted all English boxwoods across here, and I put this in. They all died from blight. I sprayed them, and I used the spray just for, I yanked them. And I put these new ones in that are disease resistant, and I'm happy. This, however, survived. So I'm really happy with this. And I feel like it's part of the family. It's been here for 31 years. And I trim it a couple times a year. I use electric hedge clippers. I know they tell you not to do it, or battery operated ones, but I just don't have the time to do it the old-fashioned way. So I bought this already started, and it's grown with me, and I love it. I wish I had bought more. This type of thing can be pretty pricey. And you've got to be careful because in the winter, you got to come out, the snow will lay on it and do damage. I've been blessed because it just, for some reason, it is very happy in this corner, and it's held up well. Thank you for spending time with me today, friends and family. Don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button, and be blessed.